Hello everyone. Let's continue with the retrenchment strategies where we dropped out in the previous class. So we saw what are retrenchment strategies. So under retrenchment strategies also there are three kinds of strategies. So let's see them in a very brief. I would like to explain you so that only the concept is very much clear in your head. See, any business activity which we are doing, when we start with a basic, then we expand our business, we move ahead. This is your scope of activity, right? So what happens? This is your scope of activity. During the retrenchment, when things are not going well, when you take a reverse side, after you expanded, you have reached to this level of business and you try to go inside, you try to expand your scope of activities. So those are your retrenchment strategies, right? And why does it happen? See, there are the divestment, there is a liquidation, and there is a turnaround strategies. Suppose this is our business. It is operating in 4 SBUs are there, or 4 different areas it is operating on. When we try to sell off one part of our business, that is your divestment, right? So when the whole business is doing well, only this portion of your business is not performing well, it is giving persistently negative cash flows are coming, or there is a management mismatch, or market share is going on. So because of this one part of your business, the whole business is getting affected. So what would you try to do? You try to liquidate this part of the business. Liquidate means shut down, right? So when you try to close down this part, this is your divestment. Then what is liquidation? Liquidation is when you try to shut down your whole business. This is generally discouraged. It is not a very encouraging activity because it leads to the unemployment of all the employees and everything. But when this situation arises, when there is no option left with the management, only the way out is, in management we say, when the dead is better than alive. So when a situation comes that this is your last resort, then we go for the liquidation, that you sell off your whole business to pay off. And generally what happens during this time, no, even some asset is worth rupees 100 and people know that you are trying to shut down your business, they would quote the price of only 80 rupees. So these kinds of many losses you bear, and then you try to sell it off. After that comes your liquidation, your turnaround strategies. What do you mean by the word turnaround? First of all, let's see. Turnaround means, going back. You have reached in the business till here, and when you try to take a back step, that is your turnaround strategies. Turnaround in the sense, you go back in your business and you try to find out that where the things are going wrong, where you are lacking. And there can be many reasons for this. Same, attrition rate is very high. Attrition rate in the sense, employees turnover is so much, they are leaving, or there is a poor management, market share is coming down, there is persistent negative profit which is coming out. So what do? It is just like in exams, right? You give the exam, you providing your mock papers or whatever, and you seeing that every time you are scoring good marks in theory, and in practical paper, in practical subject you are not able to score. So what would you like to do? You would like to go back. You would like to go back to see where the problem is, where you are lacking, right? So in the same way, no business tries to, every business likes to go ahead in the business line, right? But a time comes where you have no option left, you try to come back. You try to come back in the sense to find out the problem. So there are some steps involved in this, in the turnaround strategies. The first one is you have to ascertain the current problems. So you try to identify the problem, right? After that you have identified the problem, you try to analyze the alternatives. that what other options we have with us, what other alternatives we have with us. After that, you would select the alternative, that if we take such step, we do this, then it can be done, right? After selecting the alternative, you would try to restructure. You try to restructure the corporation, and that would finally bring you back to the normal business. So these are the steps which you take in current turnaround strategy. That is, first you will assess the current problems, what problems you are facing. Then what are the alternatives, what are the things which can be done. Then you select any best strategy, best alternative out of these, and then you try to restructure it, and then you come back to the normal functioning, right? Normal functioning of the business. So in short, these are your three strategies. Those are your, that is, that divestment, in which you sell off your one part of the business, liquidation, in you try to sell off the whole business, and the third one is turnaround strategy, where you go back in the business from where problem is arising, it is born, and then you try to sort it out, try to resolve it, right? So these are your retrenchment strategies. After that, there is also a corporate restructuring. So let's see what is corporate restructuring. Corporate or business level restructuring means changes in the composition of an organization's set of business in order to create a more profitable enterprise. जहां पे आप पूरा स्ट्रक्चर चेंज करना चाहते हो आपके कॉर्पोरेट का, सो दैट यू नो कि उसके अंदर जो जो बिजनेस हैं, अलग अलग एसबीयूज हैं, every SBU should be able to give you profits, right? So there is a, what is the logic why you want to go for restructuring, and then how this restructuring is done. So these are all about the grand strategies. There are 4 types of strategies which I have covered by now, and the last one was retrenchment strategy. Further retrenchment strategy is divided into 3 heads: divestment strategy, your liquidation strategy, and turnaround strategy. Now let's talk about the concept of core competency. What do you mean by the word core competency? See, core competency are capabilities that serve as a source, that serve as source of competitive advantage for a firm over its rivals. See, the important thing here to be noticed is capabilities and the competitive advantage. So when you are talking about core competencies, the 2 things which you have to mention is, what are the capabilities, that capabilities means plural, okay, and what are the competitive advantage for a firm over its rivals. That would define your core competencies. Let's see further. Competency is defined as a combination of skills and techniques rather than individual skill or separate techniques. That means, if we are saying, if we are not talking about one single, you know, one single skill or one single technique, no, we are talking about a combination of skills and techniques. Combination, because that's why we said we are talking about the capabilities. So it is generally, this is generally a set of, it is a sum of 5 to 15 areas of developed expertise. 5 to 15 areas of developed expertise कि उस कंपनी का, उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के कोई 10-15 एरियाज ऐसे होंगे जहां पे they have the expertise, they are expert on that, specialized in that, right? Then this term core competency, it was coined by C.K. Prahlad and Gary Hamel. In this, they have talked about that core competency should be difficult for the competitors to imitate. To imitate means to copy. It is very important. Your core competency should be, your competitor should not be able to imitate it, should not be able to copy it. So it has 3 features. Look at these 3 features. First of all, it is unique. Unique in the sense, your core competency is unique, something that uniqueness which you have, which your competitors do not have, and they are not able to copy it also. then it has to keep on improving these skills. See, in an organization, nothing stays stagnant. कि आपने एक बार कुछ किया है, it will stay as it is for years and years. No, there is nothing like this. You have to keep on working it. You have to keep on improvising it, because आप उसको change improve करते रहोगे, then only it will become difficult for the competitors to imitate, isn't it? Then after that, it should be such that it gives the immediate benefit to the customers and it has an impact on the consumers. So आपकी core competency तभी it can sustain if you are able to give the benefit and impact on the customer, right? After that, the application to other markets. See, it has two implications. Applicable to other markets. Here we mean, first of all, it is applicable in the whole organization. Whole organization means be it any level, be it top level, middle level or lower level. It is applicable on all the levels, in all the functions. Marketing, HR, finance, production, operations, everywhere it is applicable. The second thing is not only in organization, but it is also applicable in all the industry or all the sectors where your company is venturing in, right? If your company is venturing into automobiles, if it is venturing in telecommunication, it is venturing in fast moving consumer goods, FMCG. So it is applicable everywhere, not only in this. After this, let's take an example of Apple. See, what is the Apple's core competency? It is cutting edge. Cutting edge means being different, giving something unique, providing something unique which others cannot, right? So being different or providing something additional, some very different, something very unique, that is कुछ हटके वो provide कर रहे हैं, that is their cutting edge. This is their competency. And how they are doing it? Their product is very, very unique, isn't it? And their skills cannot be copied by the competitors. Secondly, they are providing the immediate benefit to the customers, and it has a direct impact on the customers. Secondly, it is applicable in the Apple in all the functions and wherever, whether they are providing mobiles, they are providing Apple MacBooks, laptops, or they are providing some software. So it is not that it is applicable only in case of mobiles. It is applicable in all other ventures also which they are doing, in all other sectors also. Same if we take the example of Japanese companies. These Japanese companies, be it Panasonic, Hitachi, Suzuki, Toshiba, these all, they focus on quality. You know, all the Japanese companies are known for their quality which they provide. Quality in the sense, they focus on total quality management and they focus on just in time. So we know that if we are talking about a Japanese company, we are talking about the quality, and quality is treated as their core competence. So basically, if you see, core competency for a firm is whatever it does best. Whatever it does best is anything in which it is best at, right? So core competencies are created by a superior integration of technological plus physical plus human resources. So they say core competencies are created by combining your technological, your physical and human resources. Technological, if we take the same example of Apple, Apple is giving Apple has an edge because it is giving some additional, some unique technology it is providing, right? Secondly, physical, the processes, the functions, the way it is operating in the organization also, the functions which are taking place in the organization, those are also different if you compare it with other organizations. Then HR, what are the human resources, be it the CEO, be it the manager, be it their product engineering, okay, and whatever the recruitment, even selection procedure, what they are selecting, they are looking for a different kind of individual who has a very unique way of innovative thinking, right? On that basis, they do the recruitment of their human resources or their employees. This is how they select. So core competency will be formed as a basis of your technological, physical and human resources. When you combine it together, your firm will be performing good. Then looking at the features of core competency. It is invisible, obviously you cannot see it. Secondly, it is the intellectual assets. Intellectual assets means asset, obviously it is an asset because it is providing you the returns. Then comes your cultural and cultural capabilities. Culture means, see, Tata. Tata is providing you, Tata is known for the low cost. That is the competency of Tata. They try to provide the, so it is not something that it is due to their procedure or it is due to, obviously other than that, there is a culture in Tata which is ingrained that they try to work on a low cost product. They try to provide the consumer with the products which have very low cost, right? Then you have corporate assets. Obviously these are treated as your corporate assets. Then these are intangible. These cannot be seen. These cannot be felt and seen, right? Anything which cannot be felt and seen are your intangible. That word is intangible for it. Then it emerges over time. Emerges over time in the sense, it is not something that overnight you can attain it or you can achieve it. Over a period of time, it emerges. You develop it over a period of time. Then you have, it reduces risk and investment. How it reduces risk and investment? It reduces because it gives you a competitive advantage. These core competencies, they get converted into a competitive advantage over your competitors. So it reduces your risk and investment. Another one is your customer loyalty. Customer loyalty in the sense, see, if you are providing somebody is attached to you, is linked to you because of your core competency. So those customers will always be there, right? Be it your, whenever you are facing high and low in your business, तो भी वो आपके पार्ट बने रहेंगे. And that customer loyalty, if they are, you are able to retain your customers, you will be able to, your risk will be decreased. Then it reflects its personality. Core competency reflects the personality of any business. कि आप लो कॉस्ट पे काम कर रहे हो, दैट इज योर पर्सनैलिटी. आप क्वालिटी पे फोकस कर रहे हो, दैट इज योर पर्सनैलिटी. और यू आर फोकसिंग ऑन द बीइंग डिफरेंट, आप उस पे काम कर रहे हो, दैट वुड बी योर. So that personality gets reflected through core competency, right? After that we have value chain analysis. Value chain analysis, see, its name itself suggests that there are three words in value chain analysis. First is value, the other one is chain, and the third one is analysis. What do you mean by the word value? Value is nothing but the additional utility which you provide. It is the utility which you provide to your customers, right? And what is chain? Chain is the series of activities or sequence of activities, right? And analysis is your assessment. So you know that value chain analysis is utility. So it means assessing. If you go this way, now you'll be able to understand. So it is this way, that assessment of the activities which are used in the organization to provide value or utility to the consumers, right? So when you try to assess these series of activities, this sequence of activities which are providing the utility to your customers, that is your value chain analysis. So this means that describing the activities within and around the organization. We try to first identify the activities which are forming the part of that process, which are falling within the organization and outside the organization. उसके बाद हम क्या करते हैं, relating to them we make an assessment, जहाँ पे हम competitive strength of an organization कि कौन सी एक्टिविटी जो है हमें as compared to our customers हमें strength provide कर रही है. We try to assess that part. Okay, then we try to assess the value for money of products. That means कौन सी एक्टिविटी में कितनी वैल्यू हम लोग ऐड कर रहे हैं और जिसकी वजह से कस्टमर्स आर स्टिकिंग विद अस, राइट। सो हर स्टेप पे हम लोगों ने कितनी वैल्यू ऐड की है, हर एक्टिविटी में कितनी वैल्यू हम ऐड कर रहे हैं, दैट इज योर value chain analysis. So when we see it, let's see it very clearly in the coming slides. So it is basically, if you say, a value chain analysis help you recognize ways you can reduce cost, optimize efforts. It helps in reducing cost, optimize efforts, and eliminating waste, and then increasing profitability. So we are working on value chain analysis so that we can find out where cost can be reduced, or we can optimize the effort where waste can be eliminated, and which will ultimately increase our profitability, right? Then how it can be done? It is the easiest way. You will be able to understand how it can be done. This can be done by identifying the separate activities. पहले हम सब एक्टिविटीज को सेपरेटली विल आइडेंटिफाई, उसके बाद विल असेस कि हर एक्टिविटी में हमने कितनी वैल्यू ऐड की है, एंड देन लिंकिंग दैट टू द competitive advantage. Competitive advantage is what? See, in strategic management, when we are talking about, be it Porter's 5 force model, be it strategic formulation, be it those strategies, everything, or be it core competency, everything is related to competitive advantage. We are doing everything to get an competitive advantage, because competitive advantage it will help you in sustaining the business, in surviving the business, right? एक competitive advantage ही ऐसी चीज होती है जो आपको बिजनेस में सर्वाइव करवा पाएगा. So that's why everything we are doing so that we get competitive advantage. See, this is the model which was given by the Porter. It is also called as fishbone model. Fishbone because of the shape. The shape it has, it is just like the bone of the fish. That's why it is also called as fishbone model. The same Porter only gave 5 forces model. Afterwards, he came up with this model. In this, what the Porter has done, he has tried to explain the activities with the help of all the activities which are taking part in an organization have been divided into 2 heads. The primary activities and the support activities. See, in an organization, if you see, generally what happens in any organization, we have inputs. Then there is a processing, and then it gives us output, isn't it? Remember this? It is a structural process which takes place in every organization throughout the world. Inputs can be your same 5 M's: man, material, machinery, methods, money, right? Processing is the process of converting, and output is your finished goods, right? So in this model also, it is nothing but it is the same thing. It is taking place. Your inbound logistics are your input. These are your inputs. Then it's getting converted. This is your process happening, and output is your these other activities, right? So in this also the same thing is happening. But what is there in the inbound logistic? Logistic, first of all, the word logistic means anything which logistic is your transportation. So inbound means anything which comes in the organization, inside the organization, and outbound means anything which is going out of the organization, right? So inbound logistic में हम लोग क्या क्या include करते हैं? सबसे पहले हमारे पास raw material आएगा, the receiving of the raw material. We have the receiving of the raw material. Then we have material handling. उसको कैसे हैंडल किया जाएगा, इन केस इट इज टू बी स्टोर्ड, दैट इज टू बी स्टोर्ड. सो ये सब इनबाउंड लॉजिस्टिक की एक्टिविटीज होंगी. ऑपरेशन में आपके पास क्या होगा? प्रोसेसिंग में आप कन्वर्ट करेंगे, असेंबल करेंगे, टेस्ट करेंगे, right? In operations, you will be doing it, all those activities. After that, it will give you finished goods out of this conversion process. Then in case if warehousing is to be done, that storage is to be done, all those activities will be happening in outbound logistic. आपके पास सब हो गया, उसके बाद आप क्या करेंगे? Marketing and sales में there will be promotion, there will be advertising, campaigns जो होंगे, market analysis जो होगा, market survey जो होगा, वो सब आपके marketing and sales का part होगा. Services में you have two kinds of services, point of sale service and after sale service. Point of sale service means at the time of selling, जो installation आपको करनी है या कुछ और जो सर्विस आप प्रोवाइड करते हैं, those are your point of sale service. And after sale service में बाद का maintenance, repairing, some exchange, whatever the things are related, those are your after sale services, right? And all these activities, these are known as your primary activities. So इसके बीच में ये जो activities हैं, इस process के through जो भी हम लोग कर रहे हैं, these are your value chain analysis. Okay, so in हर activity में क्या हो रहा है, हमें कितना क्या कुछ मिल रहा है, that is this, कि हमने यहाँ पे inbound में कितनी value add की है, operations में कितनी value add की है, outbound में कितनी value add की है. That means कि if customer is buying because your raw material is, your product is of very high quality, so that you added more value. This is your core competency. They are buying it because of this. Or what if the technology which you are using, that is very hi-fi, your operations are very hi-fi, they are buying it because of that. Or the marketing efforts which you are putting, those are outstanding. कितने अच्छे लेवल पे आपके प्रोडक्ट की मार्केटिंग हो रही है, प्रमोट हो रहा है, they are buying you because of that. या फिर आपकी सर्विसेज आउटस्टैंडिंग है, they are buying because of your services. So this is how we'll get to know कि हमारी competitive advantage ये है या ये है या ये है, जिसकी वजह से we are able to sustain in the business, right? See now, so we know our primary activities. After that, we have our support activities. Support activities are 4. First is firm infrastructure. Firm infrastructure means your organization culture, your organization structure, कि वो line and staff है या functional infrastructure structure है, कौन सा structure follow हो रहा है, anything which is following, anything which is part of your organization, that comes under your firm infrastructure, right? Then you have HRM. HRM means your recruitment, your selection, your staffing, your induction, your orientation, appraisal, everything related to human resources, your HRM. Technology development. Technology development is nothing but it is R&D department of any organization. कि वो उनकी टेक्नोलॉजी को कैसे डेवलप कर रहे हैं. Then comes your procurement. Procurement means buying, purchasing, right? But here we are not purchasing the raw materials. That is already been done in inbound logistics. Here we mean the purchasing of ancillary things. If you require some furniture, if you require some hardware, some software, some stationery for your primary activity, right? So purchasing of those materials is your procurement. It is concerned with that. So what we do, these 4 activities and these 5 activities, there are total 9 activities, all the activities of the organization, and these down one, horizontal, vertical one are combined as, these are termed as primary activities and these are termed as support activities, right? So the whole organization is depending upon these 9 activities, and we try to assess each and every activity and how much value is added by every activity. So that would decide the profit margin of your organization. So this is all given by the Porter in your fishbone model given by the Porter of value chain analysis. Then see how this value chain analysis helps us in identifying our core competency. core competency को हम लोग उसके थ्रू कैसे आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं. Value chain analysis is a strategy tool. It is a strategy tool which is used to analyze internal firm activities. The goal of this is to recognize which activity is most valuable. Remember, Porter had given 3 strategies for competitive advantage. Remember those? Cost leadership, differentiation, and the focus. We covered in the last class. These 3 strategies are given by the Porter to get a competitive advantage. या तो आपकी cost को आप इतना minimize कर लेते हैं आपके competitor से, या आपके product को you put some additional quality, additional features, additional attribute that it makes, it stands out from your competitors. And the third one is you are so focused on the segment, on your consumers, that your consumers are not ready to buy any other product other than your product, right? So any of these 3 strategies can be used to get the core competency, which will ultimately bring the competitive advantage. Then see, why do we need core competency? Why it is required? So there are 2 reasons for that. Reasons are, it gives a good fit in the sense it gives a best balance between the core competencies and the market and the environment. आपकी क्या core competencies हैं, and then आपका market and environment में whether it is fitting nicely or not. So to get the good fit, to get the best fit of these 3 things, we need the competitive advantage. Another one is to exploit the new opportunities, the opportunities which are coming in the environment. When you want to exploit those opportunities, you try to tap those opportunities. That's why also competitive advantage is required. See, now we have the managing linkages. Linkages means, what do you mean by the word linkages? Every activity which we talked about, all the activities are interlinked. Interlinked in the sense कि आपके पास आपने raw material receive किया, उसको convert किया, उसके बाद आपको उसको convert finished products को आपने भेजा, उसकी finished products आपके पास ready होके आ जाएगा. After that only you will be doing the marketing of the product, right? And आपने बेच दिया है, उसके बाद you will be providing the services to the customer. So what do you see? You see that all the activities are interlinked somewhere. So that link, how activity A is interlinked to activity B, this is your linkage. And this is very important. We need to study why the linkages are to be studied and how the activities are linked with each other. Linkages are relationship between the way one value activity is performed and the cost or performance of another. आपने एक एक्टिविटी परफॉर्म की, उसमें क्या वैल्यू ऐड की, then you are linking it to other. So in how many ways it can be done? There are 6 ways that you can interlink the activities. First is, see, it is divided into 2 heads: internal linkages and external linkages. Internal linkages means which is within the organization, and external linkages are when you are involving the people outside the organization. Those are your external linkages. So these total are divided into, there are 3 internal linkages and there are 3 external linkages. How primary to primary is linked? We know that we are getting raw material. Remember that inbound and that operations. So that we are receiving the raw material, we are converting it into, it is going through the conversion process, and then we are getting the output. So it is directly linked. You need not to worry about that. Then comes support activities. Support activities में we had 4 activities. Remember, HRM, there is financial infrastructure, there is technology development, R&D, and there is what was the 4th one? It was HRM, technology, procurement, right? So when you try to link support activity to support activity, suppose you are HRM, you are linking with the technology. That means if you adopt a outsourcing, outsourcing model you are adopting, so you are linking the technology with your HRM. HRM is not something, it is just the people which are involved. It is very inevitable part of any organization. It is very important because everything, all other resources are put together by the HRM only. So it depends a lot on the human resources of any organization, and everything related to human resources maintained by the human resource management department. So it is just not a cog in the wheel. It is a very, very crucial part of any organization. Then take an example from primary to support. Primary to support, in your marketing and sales in primary, and there you have technology. If you are using technology for your marketing activities like e-commerce, your digital marketing, so that is a linking. This is how your primary and support can be linked together. So there is always a link available between these activities. Then we have vertical integration. You must be aware, in the last class we had discussed what is vertical integration. There are 2 kinds, backward integration and the forward integration. In the value chain, if we try to take a step back towards the raw material, then it's your backward integration. If we take a step ahead, then it is trying to reach to the end consumer, then it is your forward integration. Then there is total quality management. See, external में आप generally क्या करते हो? You have the suppliers on one hand, here is your organization, and here are your end consumers, right? So external mein, when you try to link either here or here, that is your external linkage. Total quality management means when the quality is to be maintained in all the functions at all the levels of the organization. In overall organization में ही quality के ऊपर focus होता है. That is your total quality management. So in that, if you involve your supplier, कि हमें इस टाइप की क्वालिटी प्रोड्यूस करनी है, so whether you will be able to give us that kind of raw material or not. सप्लायर्स आपको उस टाइप का, उस लेवल का, उस क्वालिटी का प्रोडक्ट आपको दे पाएंगे, नहीं दे पाएंगे, और दे या चांसेस कि सप्लायर आपको गाइड कर पाए कि और भी कुछ बेटर वेज हैं, आप इसकी जगह इस चीज को यूज करेंगे तो आपकी क्वालिटी और इम्प्रूव होगी. ओके, सेकेंड वन इज सेटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स. सेटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स मीन्स कि हमें हमारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में किस टाइप की चीजें करनी है, उसके लिए इफ यू आर टेकिंग हेल्प ऑफ योर कंज्यूमर्स, कि कंज्यूमर्स एक्चुअली क्या चाहते हैं, you are asking their feedback, their review, and then you are trying to set your standards in the organization. That is also kind of your external linkage. So I hope this is very clear to you. Value chain analysis and core competencies, these 2 are very important topics. Generally in the exam it comes for short note, but otherwise if it is